In this video, we're going to be checking out the Unreleased Shantae game for the DS. This is a prototype. We have a list of different test options here. We can test Shantae, test platformer, test full roaming 3D, and test Diablo Mode. Let's take a look at Shantae, shall we? Alright, so here's the Shantae test. It's very basic. She just kind of spins around. You can move the camera. You can zoom in and out. It's pretty basic. And that is pretty much it. Not much else to it. Alright, so if we look at the platformer test, you can see here we can test out the platforming. So we just kind of move to walk normally. Hold down the Y button, you can run. We got this nice little spiral over here. Run and jump are like your only move options. We got some blocks over here. Don't think we can do anything with them. The camera isn't the best. But hey, this is a prototype, so... And she just kind of falls straight down off of that one. Alright, so that kind of tested out the inclines a little bit over there, from what I could see. You can see nothing is really textured. Alright, we're going to move on to the next test. The full roaming 3D. Alright, so it's interesting to note in the full roaming 3D, you don't use a Y button to run, you use the A button for some reason. We can change the camera up a bit. There's some little passage here. That we apparently get stuck in going in there, so like some invisible walls. Something messed up with the collision. Alright, so we were barely able to get around here. So we were stuck in there. So we do have some textured objects here, which is nice. Looks like some kind of clock tower would have been there, possibly. Or it's just a swinging platform. You never know. Not sure what that was gonna be. Some more platforming tests. Yeah, this is all pretty interesting. Unfortunately, there's no music. That would have added to the whole experience. But hey, to be able to play such a prototype in the first place, like, can't complain. The water animation is pretty cool. I like the water. So the 3D roaming test is actually pretty long. It's a pretty decent size. It looked like there's something textured behind that wall. Alright, so it's kind of bugging out over here. The collisions aren't quite matching up with the tiles. I think we've pretty much reached the end. We can drop down here, and there's actually more to explore under the water, which is interesting. But the collisions aren't exactly working down here. I mean, some of them, yeah, but look at that. And yeah, there's not really much else down here aside from this. We can see if there's anything else out here. We just keep falling. Alright, so then there's Diablo Mode. So in Diablo Mode is actually going to display on the bottom screen here. And essentially what we have to do, we have to use the touch screen to control the character. And we can kind of move the camera around. They are not going where I am tapping for them to go. That's a problem. Maybe turn the camera around. Yeah. So if you turn the camera around, the touch screen, for whatever reason, does not work the way it needs to. It gets all the directions like mixed up if you do that. But this appears to be essentially the same mode. Not the same mode, but the same map from before, from the looks of it. Just now we are in Diablo mode, and we have to use the touch screen to get around anywhere, which is rather fascinating. I have no idea where I'm going. I don't know how to adjust the camera aside from that, but again, when doing so, it kind of messes up the direction. I can jump, and that doesn't seem to mess it up any, but okay, for some reason we're getting stuck again, going in a direction we're not trying to go, so I might need to change the camera again. No, we're still going that way, even though that's not where I'm tapping on the screen. Yeah, now it's like the Diablo mode is very buggy. Okay, now it's moving where it's supposed to. But yeah, every now and then, like, for some reason, she just wants to keep running forward and won't run in the direction that you're actually tapping on the screen. Yeah, so we just fell through the map. That is pretty much everything when it comes to this prototype. Oh yeah, that was the Shantae DS prototype. For the unreleased Shantae DS game. Shantae was about to be in 3D. A shame we never got that. Now, I haven't really played much Shantae, nor have we really done any streams. yet. I do have an early E3 demo of one of the Shantae games. I do eventually want to stream. And then, of course, I went to get the Shantae games eventually for PS5, and we'll be showing some of those off. The remasters and everything. Well, no, wait. No, they're not remasters. Are they? I don't know. I've never really played a Shantae game before, if that shows, but it's always piqued my curiosity. It looks to be a pretty good game. I know it has a pretty solid fan base and following, so. Alright, that's going to be it for this showcase. This has been Clucloid with Retro Age Gaming. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned. Sometime we're going to be doing Shantae streams. I just don't know when. Until then, peace out.